It began as just another shaky video uploaded late at night, supposedly filmed in downtown Los Angeles. The clip is grainy, the kind of footage you'd expect from an old cell phone. At first, nothing seems unusual. The sound of traffic in the distance, the camera swaying as the person behind it walks home. Then, the lens catches movement across the street. A man in a well-fitted business suit, standing perfectly still under a streetlight. What's strange is his face. He's smiling. Not a casual smile, but something frozen, stretched too wide, like his skin didn't quite fit. The cameraman doesn't seem alarmed at first. He films the stranger curiously as the man begins to move. But he doesn't walk, he dances. Jerky, unnatural motions as if his body is being yanked around by invisible strings. He twirls once, stumbles, then snaps upright with his eyes fixed directly at the camera. That smile never changes, never fades. Even through the poor video quality you can feel it. It isn't a smile of joy. It's a smile that says, "I see you. I've been waiting." As the cameraman keeps filming, the suited man begins crossing the street. His movements are erratic, sometimes slow, sometimes sudden, with bursts of speed that make no sense. One moment, he's dragging his feet, arms dangling like a lifeless doll. The next, he's sprinting several feet forward before freezing again mid-step, still smiling. The camera shakes as the person filming whispers nervously, "What the hell is he doing?" But the smiling man doesn't answer. He just keeps coming closer. The tension builds with every second. The cameraman backs away, his breathing ragged, trying to convince himself it's just some drunk stranger acting weird. But then the suited man does something that sends chills down the spine of anyone who watches the video. He drops suddenly to all fours, like an animal, and crawls toward the camera at an unnatural speed. The sound of shoes scraping against the pavement mixes with the faint, eerie laugh that seems to escape from him. The camera jolts violently, pointing toward the ground, now showing the smiling man only a few feet away. His face is still twisted in that same unnatural grin. The video ends abruptly. Just static. No follow-up, no explanation. Viewers have debated for years what really happened after the camera cut out. Was it a prank? A performance gone too far? Or something far darker that no one was meant to witness? The disturbing part isn't just the footage itself, it's the silence that followed. No one ever came forward to claim they were the one filming. And no one has ever identified the man in the suit who smiled and never stopped smiling. The video begins like any other hotel security recording, grainy, silent, black and white. A young woman in a hoodie steps into the elevator of a Los Angeles hotel. At first, she looks calm, pressing several buttons one after the other, as though trying to decide on a floor. But when the doors fail to close, she suddenly ducks into the corner of the elevator, glancing out into the hallway as if someone's right outside. Her behavior is frantic, her eyes wide, scanning the empty corridor again and again. Something invisible has her terrified. Then it gets stranger. She cautiously steps back out of the elevator, moving in quick, jerky motions, like she's trying to avoid being seen. Her hands twitch nervously as she looks left, then right, before darting back inside. She presses the control panel again, this time hitting nearly every button in sight. But the doors remain open. For a full minute, the elevator refuses to move. It's as if the building itself is working against her, trapping her in that narrow box of steel and fluorescent light. Her behavior escalates. She leans halfway into the hall, then hides again inside the elevator. At one point, she makes sweeping gestures with her hands, wild, unnatural movements, as though she's talking to someone who isn't there. Her mouth moves quickly, as if arguing or pleading, but there's no sound, no one in the hallway, just the static hum of the surveillance camera. Watching her body language, it doesn't look like she's acting. It looks like she's fighting for her life against something only she can see. Minutes drag on, the footage capturing every second of her panic. Then, suddenly, her demeanor shifts. The frantic movements stop. She steps calmly out of the elevator, her face blank, her arms hanging loose at her sides. The hallway is empty, but she walks away as though following something, or someone, just beyond the frame. The elevator doors finally close behind her, as if waiting for her to leave. She never comes back. That was the last recorded footage of her alive. Weeks later, hotel guests began complaining about the taste of the drinking water. Maintenance workers checked the rooftop water tank and made a horrifying discovery: her body was floating inside. To this day, no one has been able to explain her bizarre behavior inside that elevator, or why she seemed to be running from something no one else could see. In 2007, two campers hiking through the dense woods of Oregon stumbled across something odd inside an abandoned hunting cabin. The place looked untouched for years: dusty wooden walls, shattered windows, and the faint smell of mildew. But on the floor, tucked beneath a pile of old blankets, they found a small, battered camcorder. It had no batteries, no charger, just a single tape still inside. Out of curiosity, they took it back to their camp, not knowing that what they were about to watch would change their trip and their sleep forever. The footage begins in near darkness, the glow of a flashlight cutting through the trees. The man behind the camera whispers in a trembling voice, "They're watching." His words are barely audible, but the way he says them feels desperate. Like he's trying to convince himself it's real. The camera shakes as he pans around the forest, the beam of light catching branches, leaves, and shadows. Every so often, the camera lingers on empty spaces as if he expects something, or someone, to step out of the darkness. But nothing does. Not yet. Minutes pass, and the man's breathing grows louder. His whispering becomes frantic, muttering over and over that they won't let him leave. The footage captures nothing unusual at first, but the atmosphere is suffocating, thick with dread. At one point, the camera swings wildly toward a cluster of trees, and for just a fraction of a second, two pale shapes seem to be standing in the distance. Human, animal. The poor resolution makes it impossible to tell, but the cameraman gasps sharply like he saw more than the tape reveals, before breaking into a panicked run. The rest of the video is chaos. Branches snap, the flashlight beam jerks violently, and the man's terrified sobs echo through the forest. He's gasping for air, tripping and scrambling to his feet, but he never stops filming. Then, without warning, he screams, a raw, blood-curdling sound, and the camera slams against the ground. The lens tilts sideways, catching nothing but blurry undergrowth and the distant sound of footsteps closing in. They don't sound like just one person, but several. The tape ends in silence. No explanation, no face revealed, just the chilling aftermath of whatever happened that night. Investigators who later examined the footage claimed they couldn't identify the man, nor did anyone ever report him missing. It was as if he had never existed at all, except for the tape, left behind in a cabin where no one was supposed to be. In 2015, a teenage gamer was live streaming late at night, playing a popular horror game for his small but loyal audience. The footage starts off like any other stream, him laughing nervously, cracking jokes, chatting with the viewers in the comment feed. Nothing seemed unusual. But about 20 minutes in, something happened that pulled the mood in a completely different direction. His phone, which was sitting on the desk beside him, started to ring. At first he ignored it, brushing it off with a laugh, but the ringtone kept going, sharp and intrusive, cutting through the background noise of the game. Finally, he sighed and picked it up, glancing at the screen. That's when things changed. His expression dropped instantly. Gone was the playful, joking demeanor. His face went pale, and he froze for several seconds, staring at the caller ID. He didn't say anything at first, just slowly put the phone to his ear. His viewers typed comments, asking if he was okay, but he didn't acknowledge them. Then, almost in a whisper, he asked a single question. "How did you get this number?" His voice cracked as if he already knew he wouldn't like the answer. There's a long, chilling silence after that. He sits perfectly still, listening to whoever, or whatever, was on the other end of the line. His hand starts shaking, and he slowly turns toward the camera, but he doesn't look into it. Instead, his eyes drift just past the lens, as if something unseen was standing in the room with him. Viewers later described the moment as suffocating, claiming they felt as though they were intruding on something they were never meant to witness. The boy swallows hard, nods slightly, and then whispers, "No, please don't." And then the stream glitches. For a split second, the screen distorts, the audio crackling with static before coming back. The boy is still on the phone, but his breathing has become ragged, panicked. His chair creaks as he slowly stands up, the phone pressed tight against his ear. "I told you to stop," he says, almost pleading now. He paces in a tight circle, glancing nervously at his door, then back toward the camera. Suddenly, he slams the phone down on the desk, the stream shaking with the impact. The last thing viewers see is him leaning close to the screen, eyes wide, mouth slightly open as if he's about to say something. But before a word escapes, the feed cuts out completely, black screen, silence. The channel vanished the very next day, his account was deleted, his videos wiped, and his username no longer exists on any platform. No one has ever been able to confirm what was said on that phone call, or who was on the other end of the line. It started out as nothing more than a cheerful home video. A family in Ohio was recording their annual summer barbecue, kids running through sprinklers, the sound of burgers sizzling on the grill, and laughter echoing across the backyard. The camera, handled casually by the father, panned across relatives chatting and waving, capturing the kind of memories families treasure forever. But when the footage was played back weeks later, something appeared in the background that no one remembered seeing that day. Something they couldn't explain. At first, it's barely noticeable. A pale figure standing perfectly still near the tree line at the edge of the yard. It's too far away to make out details, just a tall, thin shape blending with the shadows. The odd part is how still it is. While the party bustles with movement, the figure doesn't shift, doesn't sway, doesn't even appear to breathe. The family swore there was no neighbor, no guest, no stranger lurking at the edge of the property during their party. But the camera doesn't lie. The figure is there, watching. The father, confused, continued to review the tape, rewinding and fast forwarding through different parts of the party. And that's when the pattern became terrifying. Each time the camera panned across the yard, the figure was closer. In one clip, it's at the tree line. In the next, it's by the shed. Later, when the kids are playing on the swing set, it stands just a few feet behind them, its pale shape blurred but unmistakable. No one screams, no one reacts, because in real time, no one saw it. Only the tape did. By the middle of the recording, the figure's details become clearer. Its skin looks ghostly white, its limbs long and unnatural. Its head tilts slightly as if studying the family, but its face is obscured, either by distance, shadow, or something else. At one chilling moment, as the father zooms in on his wife holding their youngest child, the figure is visible in the background, directly behind them. Yet the mother smiles blissfully at the camera, completely unaware that something, or someone, was inches away. The final minutes of the tape are the most disturbing. The family gathers around the picnic table to cut into a cake. Everyone is laughing, singing, clapping. But when the camera tilts ever so slightly to the right, the pale figure is standing right at the edge of the yard, closer than ever before. This time there's no blur, no shadow. Just the unmistakable outline of a person, motionless, head tilted toward the lens, as though it knew it was being filmed. And then the battery dies, the screen fades to black, and the recording ends. The video begins like countless others. Just a young man vlogging, holding his camera in selfie mode while exploring an abandoned New York subway station. He's grinning, cracking jokes about how creepy the empty tunnels look, his voice echoing off the tiled walls. The station lights flicker, casting long shadows that stretch across the floor. "I've got this place all to myself," he says with a nervous laugh, his footsteps echoing louder than they should. At first it feels harmless, even playful. But then the tone of the video shifts. As he walks deeper into the station, the sound changes. The echo of his footsteps seems off, delayed, doubled, like there's someone else walking just a second behind him. He stops abruptly, swinging the camera around, but the station is empty. Only the peeling paint, the rusting metal, and the silent tracks are in view. He chuckles nervously and shakes his head, muttering that he's just psyching himself out. But when he starts walking again, the second set of footsteps follows, this time louder, closer. Then, faintly, a voice. It's distorted, distant, almost like a whisper carried through the tunnel. The camera microphone struggles to catch it, but one word is clear: "You're not." The young man freezes. His breathing quickens as he calls out, asking if someone's there. No answer, just silence. The station feels colder, darker, as though the lights are dimming by the second. He shines his flashlight down one of the tunnels, and for a brief moment, the beam reflects off something. Eyes. Two glowing points in the dark, staring directly back at him. His camera jerks violently as he stumbles backward, his laughter gone, replaced by panicked breaths. The glowing eyes don't blink, don't move, but they're fixed on him, unyielding. He whispers, "What the hell is that?" over and over, his voice cracking. Finally, the eyes shift, slowly. A tall, shadowy figure steps out from the darkness of the tunnel. Its proportions are wrong, its limbs too long, its height unnaturally stretched. The young man's hands shake so badly the footage becomes nearly unwatchable. The camera struggling to focus as the figure takes another deliberate step forward. In one last, terrifying moment, the vlogger drops the camera. The device clatters to the ground, landing sideways on the subway floor. The screen is tilted, capturing only half the tunnel. The boy's frantic footsteps echo as he runs off screen, his voice crying out in fear. The camera remains motionless, still recording. For several seconds, the glowing eyes move closer, bending down into frame until the lens captures only darkness, then nothing. The video cuts to black. In 2018, a small, nearly unknown YouTube channel appeared with only one video. Its title was unsettling in itself. "Don't watch this." The thumbnail showed nothing but static, like an old television screen. The video was just over 2 minutes long, and though most people ignored it at first, curiosity quickly spread. Those who pressed play claimed the footage was unlike anything they had ever seen, and many of them wished they hadn't. The clip begins with heavy distortion, the screen flashing between black static and faint, blurry images. At first, it looks like old home footage, shaky shots of a suburban street, a front yard, a child's bike tipped over on the sidewalk. But the colors are muted, the sound warped, as if the video had been recorded decades earlier. Then, suddenly, the audio shifts, high-pitched screaming, faint but unmistakable, echoing beneath the static. The camera cuts abruptly to flames consuming what appears to be the inside of a house. No people are visible, but the sound of someone crying can be heard faintly under the crackle of fire. As the video progresses, the imagery becomes more fragmented, more disturbing. Faces flash on screen, blurred, distorted, stretched out of shape like corrupted files. A woman's voice mutters something, low and distorted, repeating the same phrase, though the words are almost impossible to understand. Some viewers claim she's saying, "It's too late," over and over. Others insist the phrase is, "Now you're one of us." The more the footage plays, the harder it becomes to tell what's real and what isn't. At the 1-minute mark, the footage slows to near stillness. The static fades, and for the first time, a face appears clearly in frame. It's pale, disfigured, and far too close to the camera, as though pressed directly against the lens. Its eyes are wide, unblinking, and its mouth twists into a silent scream. The longer you stare, the more the features seem to shift, as if the face isn't one person at all, but many layered together into something inhuman. Then, without warning, the image disappears, leaving only a black screen. But the final seconds are the ones that disturbed viewers the most. A whisper emerges, faint and breathy, cutting through the silence. "Now you're part of it." The words are followed by a sharp, distorted laugh, and then the video ends abruptly. No outro, no explanation. Within hours, the channel that uploaded it was deleted entirely. Still, mirrors of the video continue to resurface across the internet, and countless people have reported the same unnerving experience after watching their phones ring late at night, showing only "private number." And when they answer, there's nothing but breathing on the other end. And there you have it. 7 of the most disturbing, unexplained videos ever caught on camera. Each one leaves behind more questions than answers, and maybe that's the most unsettling part. Were these just elaborate hoaxes, strange coincidences, or evidence of something darker lurking just beyond our understanding? One thing is certain: once you've seen these clips, you can't unsee them. They stay with you, crawling into the back of your mind, replaying when the lights go out and the world is silent. Maybe tonight, when your phone rings unexpectedly, or when you catch a glimpse of something at the corner of your vision, you'll wonder if you've just become part of one of these stories too. So the question I'll leave you with is simple. Would you dare to watch them again, alone in the dark? If you liked this video, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Most importantly, subscribe and hit the bell icon so the next secret finds you first.